The galaxy had never seen a war like this one. For nearly a decade, the Zarkonian Empire, a cruel and powerful race, had destroyed and enslaved dozens of peaceful alien worlds. No one could stop them, even when planets united to form the Galactic Coalition. The Zarkonians still pushed forward, cold, brutal, and full of pride. But everything changed when Earth joined the fight. Humans were different, were new to space, and less advanced than many alien species. Yet they fought with fire, bravery, and something even rarer, heart. At the front of every major battle stood one human warrior, Commander Jace Rylan. He was not the biggest or smartest, but he was fearless. He led the Earth forces in ways no alien commander could understand. His tactics were strange, his decisions risky, but they worked. And slowly, battle by battle, system by system, the Zarkonians were pushed back. And then, it finally ended. The final battle took place over the burning skies of Votrax 9. A planet once ruled by the Alarian, elegant but fragile alien species. Jace led a surprise strike into the heart of the Zarkonian flagship, defeating the Emperor's personal guard and forcing their surrender. It was over. The United Earth Alliance and the Galactic Coalition were victorious. Billions celebrated. Worlds rang with music and lights. Statues were built. Medals were given. And at the center of it all stood Jace, silent and tired. Was scarred, his armor cracked, but his eyes burned bright. He had given everything to this war. Then came the ceremony, the Coalition Council. Made of the leaders of every liberated race, met on the moon of Delanara to reward the heroes of the war. Jace was their greatest. For saving the galaxy, the Council gave him one wish anything within their power. Some expected him to ask for a planet of his own. Others believed he would want wealth beyond imagination. A few even joked that he might request command over the new Galactic Defense Force. But Jace shocked them all. He stepped forward in the Grand Hall, surrounded by generals, kings, and empresses, and said just one thing: "I want Princess Sayla of Alari." The room went silent. Whispers began immediately. Confused looks were exchanged, and many didn't even know who she was. The Empress of Alari, tall and beautiful, stood slowly from her silver throne. She looked at Jace, eyes narrowing in disbelief. "Princess Sayla?" she repeated. "My youngest daughter?" Jace nodded. "Yes, that is my reward." The Empress hesitated. "She is fragile, unfit for ruling. She has no warrior's blood." "Why her?" Sayla had been seen only once during the wars, small, pale, and hidden behind her sisters. She had no political power, no strength, and no clear future in Alari society. She was often ill. Some believed she was cursed. Others thought she was simply weak. Jace looked around the hall. His voice was calm but firm. "She saved my life, and no one even knows it." The Empress stared at him for a moment, then gave a slow nod. "Very well," she said. "If she agrees, she will go with you." Sayla stood alone in a quiet garden that floated above the clouds. Her long silver hair fell over her shoulders, and her violet eyes looked toward the stars. She was nervous Jace was coming to see her. She hadn't seen him since the war began 2 years ago.
Wow.
She remembered the moment clearly. He was badly hurt, lying in the dust of a ruined temple on one of the moons. His blood was dark, his eyes full of pain. She had hidden him, cared for him, protected him. She never thought he would remember, and now he had asked for her as his reward. She didn't understand. When Jace walked into the garden, she turned to face him. He was taller than she remembered, stronger, more worn. But his eyes were still the same, kind, serious, full of quiet fire. "Princess Sayla," he said softly. She bowed. "Commander Rylon." "No more titles," he said with a smile. "You saved my life. You can call me Jace." "Look." She smiled a little but still looked unsure. "Why me?" she asked. "I am not a warrior. I am not beautiful like my sisters. I am not strong. Why choose me when you could have anyone?" Jace took a breath. He walked to the edge of the garden, looking out over the floating islands below. "Do you remember," he said, "when I was lying there half dead? You had nothing, no weapons, no allies, just fear, and still, you stayed." "You were wounded," she said quietly. "I was a stranger," he corrected, "an alien. You should have run. But you didn't. You gave me water when you had none. You tricked patrols with your illusions. You held my hand when I cried from the pain." Sayla's eyes widened. She hadn't known he remembered all that. "You were the bravest person I met during the whole war," Jace said, turning to her. "And you didn't even wear armor." Silence fell between them. "Everyone talks about how I won the war," he said. "But I wouldn't have lived to fight if not for you." "But I'm broken," she whispered. "No," Jace said, shaking his head. "You're real." Sayla looked down, touched by his words, but still confused. "What will happen now?" she asked. Jace smiled softly. "That depends on you. You don't belong in a cage. Come with me. Not as a reward, as a partner.
As
As a friend. Maybe more." She looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. News spread fast across the galaxy. Human hero chooses frail alien princess. Is it love, madness, or politics? Alari daughter leaves royal palace to live among humans. Some laughed. Others were angry. A few were curious. No one understood. Why had the galaxy's greatest soldier chosen the weakest princess as his reward? Was it love? Guilt? A strange human joke? No one knew. But one thing was clear. The story was just beginning. And the reason is what astounded them all. The spaceship Liberty Flame slowly left the orbit of Delinara. Inside it, Commander Jace Ryland sat in his private quarters. Across from him sat Princess Sayla of Alari. Her long silver hair was braided, and she wore a soft white robe that shimmered. Faintly in the light, she looked nervous, quiet, and unsure of everything around her. This was the first time Sayla had ever left her home planet. She was surrounded by humans, loud, strong, fast-talking people with strange technology and strange habits. And now, she was traveling with the most famous of them all. Jace offered her tea. It was a human drink, warm and sweet. She accepted it with both hands, trying to smile. "Thank you," she said softly. "You're welcome," Jace replied. "Are you feeling?" She hesitated, a little dizzy. "Your ship has strange gravity." "I'll have the doctors adjust it for you," he said. "No need," she replied quickly. "I will adapt. I don't want to cause trouble." "You're not trouble," Jace said, "not to me." She blushed slightly and looked away. The journey to Earth took 3 days. During that time, Jace and Sayla spoke often. Each night they met in the observation deck. Stars floated like fireflies outside the glass walls. Sayla told him stories of her youth, how she was born weak, how her sisters were strong warriors, and how she was kept inside the palace for most of her life. She studied history, art, and music, but was never allowed to fight or train. "I was told I was useless," she said one night. "Too fragile, too soft, not worthy of the Alari name." Jace listened carefully. "But you're the one who saved me." She gave a small smile. "You say that, but I did nothing great." He shook his head. "You don't understand. Let me remind you." Flashback. 2 years ago, the Zarkonians had just destroyed Outpost Sigma. Jace's team was dead. His leg was broken, his arm burned, and his ship had crashed into a jungle moon. Called Thera-5, he dragged himself into the ruins of an ancient temple. The building was half buried in vines and dust. He crawled inside and passed out. When he awoke, a soft voice was calling his name. "Human? Are you awake?" He looked up and saw a small figure hiding behind a stone pillar. She had glowing violet eyes and trembling hands. She was afraid. Who are you?" he croaked. "I'm Sayla," she whispered. "Don't speak. You're hurt." He faded in and out of sleep, but each time he opened his eyes, she was there bringing water, covering him with leaves, feeding him small berries and roots. Once, a Zarkonian patrol came near the temple. Sayla closed her eyes, focused, and created a psychic illusion of empty ruins. The patrol walked right past. Another time, she risked her life to sneak into a Zarkonian camp and steal a medkit. Jace had nearly died from infection, but she saved him with those stolen supplies. For 11 days she hid him, cared for him, and talked to him. She told him stories to keep his mind sharp. She sang to him when the nights were cold. Jace had never felt more helpless, and never more protected. Back in the present, Sayla looked down as Jace finished retelling the memory. "I remember you said something when you left," she said. "I promised I would come back for you." She smiled. "I thought it was just something humans say before they leave." "I meant it." They sat quietly for a moment. "Why didn't you tell anyone what I did?" she asked. He looked at her gently. "'Cause I knew you didn't want attention. You helped me because it was right, not for praise. But now, the whole galaxy is watching," she said. "People laugh at you for choosing me." "Let them laugh," Jace said. "I don't care." Arrival on Earth's ship landed in the capital city of New Geneva, the heart of the United Earth Alliance. It was full of giant towers, flying vehicles, glowing walkways, and fast-moving people. Sayla stepped out slowly. The air was different. The lights were too bright. The noise made her head spin. Still, she stood tall beside Jace. He introduced her. 2 leaders, scientists, and soldiers. Most of them smiled politely. Some looked at her with confusion. Few whispered behind her back, "Why her? She's so weak. She won't last a week on Earth." Jace ignored them. He gave Sayla a quiet place in the presidential estate, a garden room with soft gravity, peaceful music, and views of Earth's oceans. She loved it, but she was still lonely. Days passed. Jace was busy with meetings and ceremonies. Sayla spent her time reading human books and learning their language better. She was smart, very smart, and picked things up quickly. One afternoon, she walked through the city with a human guard. People stared. Some pointed. A few children ran up to her, curious about her glowing eyes and silver hair. She smiled and gave them candies from her world. That night, she told Jace, "I think your people fear weakness, but children don't. They accept me as I am." "You're not weak," Jace said. She tilted her head. "Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm different." The shadow of danger a week later, during a council meeting. Sayla sensed something. She stood up suddenly and said, "Someone here has a dark mind. Something is wrong." The guards stared. Some laughed, but Jace knew better. "What do you mean?" he asked. "I see images," she said. "Metal, fire, codes, explosions, a plan to destroy your orbital station." The room went silent. Jace called in his security team. They scanned every guest. They found a hidden chip inside a visiting scientist's Arconian tech, a sabotage plan. It was real because of Sayla's gift. A disaster was stopped. The news exploded across human media. Alien princess saves Earth station. Her mind sees what machines cannot. Was she chosen or sent? Public opinion changed. Some people still doubted her, but many began to see her not as weak but as unique. Special. She had saved lives. Not with weapons, but with her mind. Jace came to her garden room that evening. She was resting, tired from using her powers. "You were amazing," he said. "I was afraid," she replied, "but I couldn't stay silent. You were braver than most soldiers I've met." She looked at him carefully. "Do you still think of me as your reward?" she asked. He shook his head. "No," he said. "You're not a reward. You're my reason." She smiled softly, and for the first time she began to believe it. The world changed slowly for Princess. She was no longer just the frail alien girl hiding in the palace or the one who had once saved a soldier. Now, she was living among humans facing their world, their systems, and their stares. But something inside her was also changing. She was becoming stronger, not in body, but in mind. Life among humans at first. Earth felt too loud, too fast. Everything was metal and movement. The air was heavy. Machines hummed constantly. People walked quickly, talked loudly, and stared often. Still, Sayla did not complain. Each day she practiced walking under Earth gravity. Her legs ached. Her chest tightened. Sometimes she had to stop and sit down for minutes before moving again. But every day, she walked a little farther. One morning, Jace saw her walking alone in the garden path. No hover chair, no cane, just slow, steady steps. "You're pushing yourself," he said. "I must," she answered. "If I am to stand beside you in this world, I must be stronger." He smiled. "You already are." Selah began spending time in the Earth research centers. She studied human tech, read political files, and talked with scientists and engineers. Her memory was sharp, her thinking clear. She could read an entire book in a day and repeat every word. Some scientists were impressed. She's too delicate. She doesn't understand human war. She's a guest, not a partner. Jace heard it all, but said nothing. He believed her actions would speak louder than any argument. A sudden crisis, just as Selah was settling. A message arrived from the outer system. Earth's Starfleet base at Terramar's Junction had gone completely silent. No response. No signals. Jace was called into emergency meetings. He asked Selah to attend as well. When she entered the war room, some commanders frowned. "This meeting is for military personnel," General Vorton said coldly. "She's with me," Jace replied. Another officer whispered, "What can a weak alien princess do in a military crisis?" Jace didn't respond. He let Selah answer. She stepped forward, her voice soft but clear. "May I see the last transmission data?" The room hesitated, then an officer handed her a tablet. She placed her fingers on it. Her violet eyes slowly glowed. For a full minute, the room was silent. Then she spoke. "There's no invasion number. Explosion. This was not a strike. It was ... mind control." Everyone stared. "Explain," the general said. Shay looked at Jace. He nodded. She turned back to the group. "I can sense it faint but clear. A psychic wave, like a pulse." Down thought. "Your people at the base are not dead. They are ... asleep." "Are you sure?" one admiral asked. "Yes, and it was caused by something ancient. Not Zarkonian. Something worse. A secret uncoverage. It's led a small team to investigate." Joined, despite protests. When they reached Terramar's Junction, they found it exactly as she had said. No battle signs, no damage. Every soldier and worker was simply sitting or lying on the ground, eyes open, minds blank. Selah walked among them. Her breath slow, her hands glowing faintly. She touched one man's head, gasped, and blinked. He was awake. She did the same. For 5 more, all returned to life. "She's reversing it," Jace whispered in awe. But then, something happened. A low hum filled the air. Station walls began to pulse with strange blue light. Selah fell to her knees. "Something is still. Here," she whispered. "A presence, ... watching me." "Get her out of here," Jace shouted. But Selah grabbed his arm. "No, this is why I came. Let me finish." She closed her eyes and focused. For 5 full minutes, she fought the mental wave. Sweat ran down her face. Her body trembled. Then, with a scream, she released a burst of psychic energy. The light vanished, the hum stopped, and across the station. Hundreds of people woke up. Back on Earth, the rescue mission was a success. The news spread quickly. "Alien. Princess saves Earth base. She fought with her mind and won. Who is this mysterious Alari girl?" The same people who had once mocked her now cheered her name. Crowds gathered to thank her. Children waved holograms of her image. Soldiers saluted when she passed. But Selah stayed humble. She returned to her garden room exhausted. Her body needed rest. She had pushed her limits. Jace visited her that evening. "You saved over 1,000 lives," he said softly. She gave a tired smile, "And I nearly destroyed my brain doing it." "You're a hero now." She shook her head. "Not a hero, just someone trying to belong." "You belong more than anyone I know." A growing bond. As weeks passed, Jace and Selah grew closer. They spent quiet mornings walking through the gardens, evenings talking about planets, dreams, and the future. One night, under the Earth moonlight, Selah said, I used to think being strong meant having muscles or power. But maybe... True strength is being unafraid to be gentle. Jace nodded. And sometimes it takes more courage to show kindness than to hold a gun. They didn't speak for a while after that, but something passed between them. Something unspoken, but real. Politics and Fernat, everyone was happy. Some Earth leaders feared Sayla's growing influence. Others worried about her psychic powers. She's too powerful, too unknown. We can't trust alien minds in human politics. And among the aliens of the Galactic Coalition, jealousy grew. Other races whispered that Sayla was stealing Earth's. Heart one mind at a time. A plan was made, a quiet one, to remove her. The council vote soon after. A surprise vote was called by the Earth Coalition Unity Council. The topic: should Princess Sayla be allowed to hold a political position within Earth's leadership? Jace stood before the council and gave a speech. She's not just an alien guest. She's one of us. She's saved human lives. She's proven her loyalty. And she sees things we can't. She belongs here. Then Sayla stood. She looked calm. But brave. I don't wish to control. I wish to help. I'll not beg for your trust. I'll earn it again and again if you let me. The council fell silent. Then the vote began. Hands raised, one by one. Until, finally Dash approved. Princess Sayla was officially welcomed as the first alien advisor to Earth's High Council. A dangerous shadow that night. Jace and Sayla stood on the balcony of the Capitol building, looking out over the city lights. "You did it?" he said. "No," she said. "We did." They smiled, but far above, in a hidden ship, a figure watched their image through a dark screen. "It's time," the figure said. "She's becoming too powerful. Begin the plan," the cold voice replied. "Shall we make it look like an accident?" "No. Make it look like betrayal." Princess Sayla sat near the grand balcony of Earth's Capitol Tower. The stars above the city were bright, and below her, humans celebrated in the streets. Lights flashed, music played, and the name Sayla echoed with cheers and songs. Tonight was special. It was her first official appearance as the first alien advisor to Earth's High Council. She wore a soft blue robe made by Earth's best designers, with a small Alari emblem on her shoulder. Her silver hair was tied in a braid that glowed. Faintly under moonlight, beside her stood Commander Jace Rillenthal, calm and proud. "You look peaceful," he said with a smile. "I'm trying to enjoy this moment," she replied. "It might not last." "Why do you say that?" She turned toward him, her eyes serious. "Peace is fragile, just like me. It can break without warning." Jace said nothing, just placed a hand gently on hers. A deadly toast inside the grand hall. Leaders from across the Earth and the Coalition gathered. Alien ambassadors, human generals, scientists, and diplomats all came to honor Sayla. A glass of golden liquid was passed to her during the celebration. She lifted it politely. "To unity," tall ambassador from the Tarkin species said. "To courage, to a better future." Sayla smiled and drank. 5 seconds later, her hand began to shake. 10 seconds later, her vision blurred. 15 seconds later, she collapsed. "Sayla." Jace cried out, rushing to her side. She couldn't respond. Her body jerked. Her lips turned pale. "Medic." "Ow." Jace roared. The race to save her doctors rushed into the hall. Sayla was carried out on a hover stretcher, her body barely breathing. Jace followed, eyes full of fire. They reached the medical center in minutes. Machines connected to her body. Fluids pumped into her veins. Alari healers from the embassy joined, using light energy to slow the poison. "She's fading," the head doctor said. "What poison is it?" Jace asked. "Unknown, but powerful." Jaw clenched. "Find out who did this. I want names now." Rage of the human commander that night. The world saw a side of Commander Jace Rylan they had never seen. He was no longer the calm leader, the clever tactician. He was a man burning with fury. He stormed into the security room of the Capitol and replayed every second of the ceremony. His eyes caught a slight movement, one ambassador dropping a clear capsule into the drink tray before the toast. Zoom. In Jace ordered, it was Ambassador Creel of the Varnox system, an ally race known for trade and old hatred of Larar. Jake moved like a storm. He marched into the council room full of leaders and threw the tablet onto the table. Creel tried. To kill her, he said, and I will not stand by. Some council members were silent. Some tried to calm him. Let the law handle it. We must follow diplomatic steps. But Jace slammed his hand on the table. She came here in peace. She saved us. And this is how we thank her? With poison? The room went quiet. Jace's voice dropped lower. From now on, if anyone dares touch her again, they won't face laws. They'll face me. The truth behind the attempt Ambassador Creel was arrested. Under pressure, he confessed the plan. But it wasn't just him. Several high-ranking officials, human and alien, had formed a secret group. They believed Sayla was becoming too powerful. Her psychic gifts, her influence on Jace, her rising popularity, they feared it. She's changing Earth, Creel said. What? We couldn't let that happen. Jace stared at him in disgust. She changed Earth for the better, he replied. But now, you've declared war on something far stronger than politics. My loyalty. Sayla struggled between life and death for 3 days. Sayla fought the poison. Her body shook with fever. Her mind drifted in and out. Her soft skin turned pale. Jace never left her side. He held her hand, whispered stories, played her favorite music. Doctor said she might not wake up. But Jace didn't give up. Come back to me, said again and again. Don't leave me now. A faint glow the fourth night. Something changed. Her fingers twitched. Her chest rose slowly. Her lips moved. Jace ... She whispered. His eyes filled with tears. I'm here, he said, holding her hand tighter. I'm right here. But you stayed always. Her violet eyes opened weakly. They tried to end me. Didn't they? Yes, Jace answered. But they failed. The world watches when news spread that Sayla had survived the poisoning. The galaxy reacted. Millions sent messages of support. Protests broke out across systems demanding the removal. Of all those involved in the assassination plot, children painted pictures of Sayla, calling her the princess who refused to die. Her popularity grew even more. Not just because she was powerful, but because she was kind, forgiving, brave. A difficult choice 2 weeks later, Sayla returned to the council chamber. She was thinner, her face pale, but her eyes shone with quiet fire. I know many still fear me, she said to the leaders. I know my presence causes questions, but I will not step away. She looked around. If peace is fragile, then I will be its shield. Not with force, but with truth. Then she turned to Jace. You once said I was your reason. Now I say, you are mine. A proposal in the garden that evening, under the stars, Jace took her to the Earth Palace garden. They walked slowly. She leaned on him slightly, but her steps were firm. He stopped near a small tree she had planted weeks ago. He turned to her, nervous for the first time in years. I picked you as my reward, he said. But I didn't know then what you would mean to me. She looked up, surprised. I don't care what the galaxy thinks. I don't care what people say. I only care about one thing. He pulled out a small ring, a mix of earth metal and Alari crystal. Will you stay with me? Not as an advisor. Not as a reward, but as my partner? Stella's eyes filled with tears. I thought I was too broken, she whispered. No, he replied. You're the strongest person I've ever known. She smiled and whispered, yes. But peace never lasts far away. On a forgotten moon, a shadowy figure watched a screen. They survived the poison, a voice said. Yes, the figure replied. But their love has now become a weapon. What shall we do? The figure smiled. Coldly. We strike where it hurts the most. Make the galaxy turn against them. Peace returned, at least for a little while. Princess Sayla was healing. Commander Jace Rylan was finally smiling again. The two of them had become a symbol across Earth and the Galactic Coalition. Soldiers, civilians, children, and even former enemies were talking about the warrior and the princess. They represented something bigger than power. They represented hope. New life begins. A week after Sayla said yes to Jace's proposal, they moved into a quiet home near Earth's ocean cliffs. It was far from the noisy city. The garden was full of earth and alari plants. Birds sang in the morning. Stars sparkled like silver dust above the sea. Sayla walked without help now. She wore simple dresses and laughed more often. Her health had improved, but it was still fragile. She needed rest, warm tea, and quiet. Jace gave her all of that each day. He helped her grow stronger, and each night she helped him forget the war. Dark rumors spread, but not everyone was happy, far across the stars. Deep within the ruins of the fallen Zarkonian Empire, angry voices plotted in the dark. She is turning the galaxy against us. The humans worship her. We must end her, but not with weapons. No, said one. Let the galaxy destroy her. Let the people turn their love into hate. And so a new plan was born. False accusations. One morning, a message flashed. Across the galaxy's networks, breaking news. Princess Sayla spied for the Zarkonians. Evidence found in old war records suggested that Sayla had once communicated with Zarkonian leaders. Video clips were edited to show her talking to a shadowy figure. Images showed secret messages. Reports said she passed psychic information. 2 enemies during the war. None of it was true. But the lies were well planned. People began to whisper. Some believed the lies. Some began to doubt. Even Earth's council called for an investigation. Jace was furious. She risked her life for us. He shouted in a press conference. She saved lives again and again. You think she did all that to destroy us? The reporters still pushed questions. Will she step down from her position? Should she be exiled? Does she control you with her mind? Jace slammed his fist on the table. She doesn't control me. She inspires me. Sayla's silence for days. Sayla said nothing. She stayed in the garden. She didn't answer the media. She didn't return calls. I'm not angry, she told. Jace, I'm just ... tired. You don't have to face this alone, he said. She looked into his eyes. But I do, because it's not just my name on the line. It's yours too. You picked me. Now the world doubts you because of me. Jace grabbed her hand. I picked you because I saw your heart. I'd pick you again every time. The Trial public trial was set by the Coalition's Supreme Assembly. Sayla stood before hundreds of leaders, officers, and ambassadors. Everyone watched. Millions from across the galaxy were tuned in. The lead prosecutor, cold-blooded alien from the Velari race, stood and spoke. We have messages, images, videos, all showing Princess Sayla in contact with the Zarkonians before the war ended. Then, he looked at her. Do you deny it? Sayla stood up, her back straight, her voice calm. I do? Then explain this, he said, pointing to the screen. A video played, a blurry image of Sayla speaking softly to a dark figure. But Sayla smiled. That image is real, she said. But the story is false. She raised her hand and a light appeared in the air. It played a memory, stored in her mind a memory no machine could fake. It showed the full scene. The dark figure was not a Zarkonian. It was Jace, during his time. Hiding in the temple, the voice proved it. The date proved it. She had been helping a wounded human, not betraying him. The room gasped, and then Sayla said, Check all the other evidence. You will find more tricks, more lies. A scientist from Earth's intelligence department stepped forward. We did, she said, and we found something else. She tapped a screen. A hologram of the real spy appeared, an ex-council member who had vanished 2 years ago. He had used Sayla's identity to send false messages. The real traitor was exposed. The crowd stands. With her, the room went silent. Then one by one, leaders stood and bowed. We owe you an apology, said the Velari prosecutor. You owe her your respect, Jace replied. His voice full of pride. The trial ended. Sayla was proven innocent. But more than that, she was now untouchable. No lie could break her again. The final truth, a few nights later, during a peaceful walk along the cliffs, Sayla asked Jace a question. Back when you picked me, ... Everyone thought it was strange. Even I didn't understand it. Jace smiled. And now I know why I care about you. But I still want to hear your reason, the real one, not for the cameras, just for me. Jace looked at the sea, then back at her. He spoke slowly, honestly. When I was broken, hiding in that temple, ... You saw me as a person, not a soldier. You cared when you had no reason to. You showed me a kind of strength I'd never seen. She looked down, shied, he continued. I've seen warriors with swords and guns. But you fought every day with pain, fear and doubt, and still smiled. Then he added one last thing. I didn't pick you because you were frail. I picked you because you were the strongest person I'd ever met. She didn't reply. She just held his hand tightly. Peace at last. Years passed. Sayla and Jace married. Under twin moons, watched by leaders of many worlds, together they worked for peace, not through fear or weapons, but through trust and understanding. Sa helped build a new academy for gifted men, dishuman and alien. Jace trained young officers not just to fight, but to lead with honor. Their story became legend, and when asked what changed the galaxy, many would answer the same way. A human soldier picked the frailest alien princess. And the reason truly did astound us all.